So thank you for joining. Before we start, just a brief introduction about myself. I'm Luis Castillo. I'm Program Solutions Director for Sigenergy. Today, we wanted to give you a walkthrough of our solution. We're also going to talk some points about the company. It's a new company, so I'm sure some of you would like to know a little bit more about Sigenergy. And at the end, we're going to have, of course, a Q&A session. So before we start talking about the product, I want to give a brief intro about Sigenergy. As I'm sure you are aware, Sigenergy is a new brand. We are a manufacturer of storage solutions, but we also do PV inverters and EV chargers. Sigenergy is a technology company, meaning everything we offer into the market, we design, develop, and manufacture in-house. I think this is quite an advantage at the moment, where you have an industry which is full of brands, but actually there are no many manufacturers. The mission of Sigenergy is clear. We want to be a leader and a pioneer in the distributed energy generation industry, and I believe we can only do through innovation. And this is exactly what we have done. We have brought a product to an industry that was lacking of innovation for the last perhaps 4 or 5 years, and we are getting a really good feedback about it. Before we go into details on our solution, I wanted to highlight 3 main points that we took into consideration when we designed our solution. First, we wanted something that is easy to install and commission. Reason being, because nowadays we're not just talking about a PV installation, and I'm talking about in the residential scenario. It's not anymore just a string PV installation. We're talking about battery storage. We're talking about EV chargers. We're talking about energy diverters. So the installation became more complex, more elements. Installers needs to check compatibility of this technology with another. So we wanted definitely to ease up that process. Secondly, safety. As a manufacturer, as a technology company, more than a technology company, we want to be seen as a storage company. The storage is the core of our, let's say, a solution. Our products are going to revolve around storage. And obviously, when you are dealing with batteries, with storage solutions, safety levels needs to be increased. So we have put a lot of engineering into our solution, and I'm going to elaborate more during the presentation. And the third point will be user experience for both the installer and the homeowner. We wanted something that a system that after it's installed is easier to monitor for the installer and is easy to navigate for the end user. We wanted to create a good experience for both. We understand homeowners and users there want to know more about the energy consumption. Where is the energy going? They want to get more familiar with this aspect of their lives. So we believe we have created the tool to do it through our MySegen app. Now, what is the SigenStor? You might have heard about the SigenStor. So we like to refer to it as the world's first true all-in-one solution. You might have heard the word all-in-one before, I'm sure in the last couple of years. But what we see that most of the technologies that you have in the market, all-in-one technology that you have in the market, what they offer is capabilities by extension. You have an inverter that might be or not might be able to couple with some batteries, or might be able to be parallel with an EV charger or not. So all of those solutions will give you is capabilities by extensions. What we are offering with the SigenStor is the first world true all-in-one solution. We gave you native technology from the equipment. You don't need to check or you don't need to look for more capabilities outside the SigenStor. It's been since its launching almost 2 years ago. We have been getting really good feedback from the market, both from installers and from, let's say, we have got several awards as well. The SigenStor is in essence 5 things. It's a battery PCS or a battery inverter. It's a storage unit, a battery pack. It's a PV inverter or a hybrid inverter. It's an EV charger, and it's also an energy management system, all in one modular solution. If we go into detail on the SigenStor, what we have is the first module at the top we refer to as the energy controller. This unit is both. It's a PC, it's a battery inverter, and it's a PV inverter. It's also an energy management system or a data logger when you have in the let's say if you have projects with multiple units, you don't need an additional level of control. This is the brains of the unit. This is the level where you will have all of your connections, AC inputs, communication cable, DC inputs, they all happen at the energy control level. The second layer is an EVDC fast charger. This is perhaps the biggest piece of innovation at the moment. This is a first in the industry. This is true innovation that we're bringing to the industry. Nobody else has a product like this at the moment. So it is an optional module, but you don't need to install it at the beginning, but it can be retrofitted at any point in time. And the rest of the layers are battery packs that could be 5 kilowatt hour or 8 kilowatt hour battery packs. You can stack up to 6 battery packs, and they can all be all 5, all 8, or any combination of 5 and 8. More importantly, battery packs can be retrofitted at any point in time. You start an installation with 5 or 8 kilowatt hours, and then you can just add on top of that without the need of balancing or synchronization. To the combination of all of these modules, we refer to as the SigenStor, is an all-in-one solution for PV, storage, and EV charging applications. It can be used as both DC coupled or AC coupled unit. You don't need to install PV power on the energy controller. You can just use as an AC coupled battery if needed. And also you can benefit from the SigenStor in on-grid or off-grid scenarios. For off-grid scenarios, you will need another element, which is our gateway, and I'm going to discuss more about that later on the presentation. In terms of specification, as an installer, I'm sure you also do a design. This is, well, you will need to specify to your distributor several things. The energy controller, we have 2 versions. We have a single phase and a 3-phase energy controller. Within the single phase and 3-phase categories, we have the sizes that you can see on screen. Each of these is, let's say, a different product, so you need to specify this to your distributor. We started with 3 to 6 kilowatts, and recently we have added larger single phase inverters, which are proven to be very popular, 8, 10, and 12 kilowatts. The EVDC charger, we have it in 2 sizes, 12.5 and 25 kilowatt. Within those 2 categories, you have 2 more categories for each, which is the only difference is the length of the cable. It will come on in 5 or 7.5 meter cable options. The same hardware can be used for the single phase energy controller or the 3-phase energy controller. And again, the rest of the layers, battery packs that can be 5 or 8 kilowatt hours. You can stack up to 6 if you don't have an EV charger. If you have an EV charger, you can stack up to 5 battery packs. Now, as you can see, our largest inverter is the 25 kilowatt 3-phase. When we designed the SigenStor, we wanted something to be simple, like single phase and 3-phase energy controllers are both the same physical size. So in terms of design, you don't need to think much about when you change from single phase to 3-phase or when you change from a 3 kilowatt to a 10 kilowatt. So everything is the same size, but we wanted also, of course, give you an option to address largest project if necessary. So if you need to increase your project capacity, if you need more than 25 kilowatt, the only thing you need to do is add more SigenStors in parallel. You can do this with the single phase energy controller or the 3-phase energy controller. You can go from a 25 kilowatt system to a megawatt system, from a 5 kilowatt hour system to a megawatt hour level system. Just to give you an idea how scalable the solution is, our largest project in Europe at the moment is located in Spain. It's composed by 40 SigenStor, each of them with 25 energy controller and 6 8 kilowatt hour battery packs. It has a total capacity, power capacity of 1 megawatt and a storage capacity of 2 megawatt hour. Same technology that you're using for a residential system, you can use it for a large commercial system if necessary. So again, it's a testament of the scalability of the solution and flexibility. Now let's talk. Let's go into more detail on the battery packs. The battery packs, we use LFP cells inside the battery packs. The 5 kilowatt hour and the 8 kilowatt hour has a usable energy of 5.2 and 7.8 kilowatt hours respectively. This is kilowatt hours that we guarantee you will be able to extract from the unit at the beginning of the life cycle. Charge and discharge power, you have 12.5 for the 5 kilowatt hour and 4 kilowatt for the 8 kilowatt hour battery pack. This means batteries are 0.5 C batteries. Now, if you need more discharge and charge power, more than 2.5 or 4 kilowatt, all you need to do is add batteries under the SigenStor. The more batteries you are, the larger your charge and discharge capacity will be. Now, it is very important to understand that if you see the example on screen, let's say you have two 8 kilowatt hour batteries, which will account to 16 kilowatt hours of storage and 4 kilowatts of charge and discharge capacity. If you have only a 5 kilowatt energy controller there, then you will be limited by the energy controller when you discharge towards the grid, when you discharge towards the load, when you charge from the grid. Essentially, when you need the inverter circuit in the energy controller, when you do DC to AC conversion or when you do AC to AC conversion. Now, when you charge directly from the PV modules, if you have on that 5 kilowatt inverter, you have 8 or more kilowatts of DC power, that can go directly with the battery without being limited by the energy controller, because it doesn't, the inverter circuit doesn't participate in the operation. So this is the advantage of a DC coupled solution like ours. Now, once the SigenStor is assembled, the energy controller's batteries, mounting base, the unit is IP66 rated, which means that you can install outside. You don't need to worry about weather or particle ingress. This is quite an advantage nowadays because we see the conversations are pushing batteries perhaps outside the homes, outside the building. So we are in a very good position to address this. However, we have put enough safety measures in our battery pack so it can be installed indoors. We have plenty of examples about this. The decision will be from the installer, indoors or outdoors. We can do it. We give you the flexibility, and installer can make the decision. Operation temperature of the system is -20 and 55 degrees. So because this is important, because when you install a system outside, fine, it could be IP65, it could be IP66, but that will not protect you from cold temperatures. If the battery cells inside the battery pack reach 0 degrees, they won't be able to charge and discharge. This is not Sigenergy battery cells, these are all battery cells. So what we have done to overcome this challenge is we have added heating pads at the battery pack level. Every battery pack has its own dedicated heating pad that will regulate the temperature and increase the temperature in the event of the cell temperature dropping down to 0. This is with the idea to keep a charge and a discharge rate during cold temperatures. The charge and discharge rate of a battery cell, of the LFP cells at least, they are a function of the state of charge and the cell temperature. So it's not a linear, let's say, relationship. So what we aim to do is to keep the cell at a temperature where still it's able to charge and discharge. The system that you see on screen is one of our first systems in Europe. It's located in Stockholm, Sweden. It was installed outdoors, as you can see, and it was subject to several days in a row under sub-zero temperatures, and the system was still able to charge and discharge. Now, going back to the installation, as I mentioned at the beginning, it was one of the main points we wanted to improve when we designed the SigenStor. The first step that we did towards that was to remove all cabling from the units. There is no cabling between batteries and between batteries and energy controllers. Once you stack a battery pack or an energy controller on top of the battery, that's it. The unit is connected. The reason we did this, again, is to reduce the installation time, but also to make the system more robust, because wherever there is a cable, wherever there is a cable termination, there is a potential failure point, or there is a potential for that cable getting damaged at some point during the lifetime of the system. So by having a system without cable, you are definitely having a more robust system. Then commissioning is all done through our app, the MySegen app. It shouldn't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes. It depends on the internet connection that you have on site. It is just a process of 5 steps where you will input basic data about your system, and that will be the system commission. You don't need anyone from Sigenergy to go to site. You don't need to send pictures to Sigenergy. You don't need to get any confirmation from us. You are completely independent from us to do the commissioning. And then rectification during the commissioning process and after the commissioning, during the monitoring, you will be able to do a self-diagnosis where the system will identify all the connections on site, and it will tell you if there is a problem. If you happen to do this during the commissioning and there is an alert, you will know that there is a cable connection that you need to fix before leaving site. This is done with the idea of making sure you don't leave site with any problems on the installation. But you can also do it afterwards, and it will be a good way to start understanding the site. If there is any issue on site and the source of it. The message here is that all rectification is and all troubleshooting is remotely. If we cannot fix the problem remotely, it could be perhaps because the unit is damaged, either the inverter or the battery pack, and in that scenario, you will get one under warranty. But we will never ask you to go to site to update a firmware upgrade or repair a system or change some settings. All of that is done remotely, which is an advantage compared to other solutions. In terms of safety, as I was saying at the beginning, we have put a lot of engineering in making sure our battery packs are safe. The main layer of defense will be we have an array of 7 sensors that will constantly give us real-time data about what's happening inside the battery packs. We will get information like voltage difference between the battery cells, which is useful to understand degradation and longevity of the battery pack. And we will also get information like, obviously, the temperature of the cells. If the temperature in one of the cells is increasing too much, we have added hydrogel insulated pads between cells, which will slow down this heat transfer. However, if the problem is such that the heat is spreading around battery cells and the temperature inside the battery pack is reaching dangerous levels, there will be a dedicated fire extinguisher per pack that will trigger if that target temperature is reached, and it will cool down the battery pack. At that point, there might be an increase in pressure because of the temperature inside the battery pack. There is a automatic decompression valve that will relieve that pressure. And there is also a high temperature resistant insulating pad around the whole battery pack that will keep any high temperatures inside the battery pack and will make the battery pack safe to change. The minute the fire extinguisher triggers, that battery pack needs to be replaced, and the installer will get an alarm, a message saying there is a problem with the battery and it needs to be replaced. Now, All of these are last resource measures. The main layer of defense is the information that we get from the sensors, and we have integrated AI algorithms for safety with the idea of predict a potential fault inside the battery pack. So we don't need to wait for the fire extinguisher to trigger for us to understand that the battery pack has failed. There could be the algorithm could understand there is a fault is inevitable, and the battery will be disconnected from the array. And this is a scenario, the installer will also get an alarm, a message saying that the battery needs to be replaced. Warranties. So we have a product warranty of 10 years for the battery packs and the energy controller. The EVTC charger will be 3 years. That is our product warranty. Then we have a performance warranty, which have two conditions. The first one will be through throughput energy. We guarantee that you will be able to discharge a minimum of 15.85 megawatt hours from the 5 kilowatt hour battery pack and 23.77 megawatt hours from the 8 kilowatt hour battery pack. That is the kilowatt hours that we guarantee you will be able to discharge from every battery pack. No, some other brands, they work with cycles. We decide to work with throughput energy because it's more transparent. It's really difficult to keep track of the cycles that you have used and the cycles that you have remaining once you install a battery. So kilowatt hours are easier to measure, and it's a more transparent way to handle a warranty. Then the other condition will be usable energy, which we declare on the warranty and the data sheet. It will be 5.2 for the 5 kilowatt hour battery pack and 7.8 for the 8 kilowatt hour battery pack. So whatever so what we guarantee is that you will have at least 70% of the usable energy for 10 years. So whatever comes first, either the usable energy for 70%, for 10 years, or the minimum throughput energy. We have also recently added warranty extension options. You will be able to extend the product warranty for 15 years plus 5, and then you will be, if that happens, then obviously your conditions of minimum throughput energy will increase. All of this information, standard and extended warranty conditions, you can download at any time from our website. It's quite transparent. It's a very short document. If you have any questions, just please get in touch. Another advantage of our solution is that every single battery pack that we use has its own dedicated battery optimizer. The battery optimizer is built inside the battery packs. This will help the battery packs to work at different state of health or state of charge. This is the reason why we can mix 5 kilowatt hour with 8 kilowatt hour battery packs in the same stack. It is also the same reason why we can mix old and new batteries, or we can mix fully charged battery with fully discharged battery. So we could even have different cell technology inside different battery packs, so because they are completely independent. The other advantage of our architecture is all battery packs are connected in parallel with the energy controller. So if one of them fails, it just disconnects from the bus, and the other battery packs are not affected. They will continue charging or discharging with the bus. So there is not really a bypass scenario, because we are not bypassing anything, since all battery packs are connected in parallel. Again, this is a huge advantage when it comes to the downtime of your equipment. If one battery pack fails, only that battery pack will be out. The rest of the unit will continue working normally. And for three-phase systems, this is we have the option to work with unbalanced loads, meaning that we can have three-phase system where every phase is feeding, let's say, single phase loads, and those loads, they don't need to be balanced. The condition will be that what we offer is 1/3 of the maximum capacity of the inverter per phase. As long as you keep the maximum load per phase under that limit, then you will be able to work with unbalanced loads. Working with unbalanced loads can happen during on-grid or off-grid scenarios, and you will still have the full capacity of your inverter. Now, let's talk about some of the accessories. Everything we have discussed so far is about the SigenStor. We do have a few accessories. The most important one will be the Segen Energy Gateway. This is the cabinet. This is the interface that will allow you to work on the backup scenario, meaning if there is a power cut, the Segen Gateway will switch over the supply from the main to the SigenStor. This switchover will happen in something very close to 0 milliseconds. It will be instantaneous or almost instantaneous, and the loads will not disturb. It will be less than a cycle, so lights will not flicker, internet won't be lost, the router will keep working. The gateway for single phase scenarios is divided in 3 ports for 3 SigenStor. You can connect up to 3 SigenStor. They can have different capacity of power and storage. You will have a backup port where you can connect the whole house if you want. You have the option for full home backup. You have another breaker for the grid, and then you will have a breaker that we refer to as the smart port, where you will connect a generator for a diesel generator for additional backup, or you could also connect an immersion heater and control that immersion heater as a function of the state of charge or the PV power available. And it would work like an energy diverter. We're also working on an interface to add a heat pump and also control it on a smart way. So there is a lot of work doing on integration with different equipment. So please get in touch if you are interested on this part. We have recently changed, done a modification on our gateway, because we have added, as I mentioned at the beginning, new larger single phase inverters, 8, 10, and 12 kilowatt. So we have upgraded one of the breakers of the gateway with a higher capacity. So if you have one of the inverters, you should connect it on that specific port. All of this information, of course, is available on the installation manual. Same as single phase. On 3 phase, we have gateways, but we have a larger, let's say, portfolio, because chances are that in 3 phase you could come to projects that have more capacity. So the principle is the same, but you just will have gateways with more inputs, 2, 6, and 12 inputs to be specific. Another piece of equipment is the Segen power sensor. This is a Modbus meter with HCTs. We have a single phase version that is up to 120 amps. And we have, for 3 phase, we have 3 versions, 120, 300, and 600 amps. This is just a simple Modbus meter. It comes with the CTs, and it needs to be hardwired to the energy controller. Another accessory will be the 4G dongle. This is not mandatory to use, but is highly recommendable because it will give you access to 4G connectivity. It comes with a contract of 2 years worth of data. And the idea is to give you an alternative to the internet of the property. If you think you're going to have problems with Wi-Fi, or there is no internet at the property, then a 4G connection will be your option. Regardless, I would recommend, as a good practice, to use a 4G dongle in all of your installation and have it as a backup, because we do know that internet could fail at any point in time during that installation. So the system will always have a backup way to communicate. It will also help you during the commissioning. Even if you don't want to leave the 4G dongle permanently on the installation, I'll still recommend you that you have a 4G dongle on your toolkit, so you can use it for commissioning and have, again, an alternative to the house internet during the commissioning. Now, let's talk a bit about the EV chargers. As I was mentioning at the beginning, our EVDC charger, perhaps the biggest piece of innovation that we have brought, because this is something really new to the industry. There are three main advantages. Well, the first one will be the capacity is 12.5 and 25. Compared to your standard single phase 7 kilowatt charger, our capacity is higher, which means faster charging, less time waiting for your car to be fully charged. Secondly, will be the fact that it's a DC charger. There will be less energy wasted. You don't need to go through that DC to AC conversion process, and again AC to DC conversion when you go back into vehicles. So if when you are charging from the PV models of the battery, it will be more efficient. And third, it will be the bidirectional or V2X capabilities, which will allow you to move power from the vehicle to your house or to the grid. Now, on that specifically, on that bidirectional capability, I want to be very clear, very responsible with this. At the moment, this capability has been launched. We have launched in China. It works, hardware and software is there. However, the protocol is based on the GBT connection that they use there. On Europe, we are working with CCS2, Type 2 protocols for V2X under CCS2. It has just been recently released. They are relatively new for the industry, so there still needs to be an integration process between the charger and the EV makers. This is still ongoing, and until this is not finalized, you won't be able to use the bidirectional feature. So the most responsible way we have found to promote this is once this integration is finished, we will publish on our website which maker and which model have we done the integration with. So if you are interested on the bi-directional feature, please get in touch and we will update you when it's finished. However, the bidirectional feature won't stop you to use your charger as a DC charger, which is what it was designed to do. At the moment, the main way, the logic that the charger will work is if you start a charging event, the PV capacity will be priority. If there is enough PV, then the batteries will be used to top up. And then if there is not enough power between PV and the batteries, then the charger, the energy controller will pull from the grid. Now, that portion that is being pulled from the grid, it will depend, of course, on the energy controller capacity. Different from the DC charger, we also have an AC charger. It is IP66 protection. It comes with a Type A RCD. You have 7 kilowatt single phase, and you have 11 and 22 three-phase. It also cooperates with the SigenStor, so it can understand when there is excess PV and then charge accordingly. If you want more information about this, please get in touch or just check the user manual of the AC charger. Let's run quickly through some solution scenarios now that you have a overview of the solution. So for a typical scenario, PV plus storage, you will need a SigenStor that will be connected to DC power. This is optional, but let's assume you are doing it as a PV plus storage system. You will have a AC line connected to your distribution panel, and then you will have a power sensor which is hardwired through RS-485 to the energy controller. That's your electrical installation. The rest will be to do your connectivity, which you could hardwire to the router. You could connect to Wi-Fi through the built-in Wi-Fi module that is on the unit. You just need to connect the antenna that comes in the box, or you could connect to 4G. You can use one of those or the three of them. The more connectivity that you have in your system, you will make your system more robust. We would recommend that you at least use 2 methods of communication, so you have one backup. Now, another typical scenario will be PV plus storage and backup. Everything remains the same except your AC side. This time you will have a gateway. Your energy controller will be connected to the gateway. Your distribution, your load will be connected to the gateway as well. In the same way will be the grid. Note that in this scenario, there is not a power sensor. This is because the gateway has CTs built in on it, and it will be able to take measure of the import and export to the grids and send it to the energy controller. But there has to be a communication line between them, and this is done through Ethernet cable. And the only thing we recommend is that the distance is not more than 100 meters between the energy controller and the gateway. And finally, a retrofit is a scenario that is somewhat popular in the UK because you have many installations, all installations that are just standalone PV, and they are looking to retrofit batteries now. In that scenario, you could use our SigenStor. Here, there is a line between the PV models and the energy controller, but that doesn't need to be the case. You can just use it as an AC coupled battery. Nothing changes, everything remains the same. What we do is detect excess power coming from the PV inverter and then charge the battery if there is a storage capacity available. So you don't need to touch or rewire anything on your existing installation. The only additional component will be, and it's optional, will be an additional pair of CT of power sensor that you can connect at the output of the existing inverter only if you want to see those parameters on our app. You will see the output values of current, voltage, and power on our app. Otherwise, that additional power sensor is not necessary. Now, to finish, let's just have a couple of points on the MySegen app. This is the interface that we use to commission and monitor the installation that our installers will use to commission and monitor the installation, and also the interface that homeowners will use to monitor their system. One of the main advantages of the MySegen app is the energy flow on the homepage. It gives you real-time information. It refreshes every 10 seconds compared to some of the solutions that are in the market. The refreshing time is significant. Normally solutions are within a minute or 5 minutes. The same real-time information you will get from the inverters and the battery. If there is an issue on any of them, you will know very quick. The app is quite visual. It has different graphs: PV consumption, PV production, state of charge of the battery, charge and discharge rate. So, and you will have this information in different time frames: day, week, month, or yearly. The MySegen app is not just an app to commission the SigenStor, it's also an app to commission the EV charger, the AC charger, and it will be the app to commission future products that we're going to add under the MySegen app umbrella in the future. Another use of AI in our system is we have added a AI assistant. This has done with the purpose of help the installer and the homeowner navigate through the app. You can ask the assistant questions about Sigenergy, general information about the product and solution, information that you could have found perhaps in the documentation, but also you can ask information specifically about your system. What's my state of charge? How much energy have I export today? If there is an alarm, you can ask the assistant of ways to, let's say, troubleshoot that alarm. We also have AI on the operation mode. As you know, some of you that are familiar with operation modes on batteries, you have maximum self-consumption, time of use, full effect to grid, but we have an additional operation mode, which is the Segen AI mode for dynamic tariff. If the homeowner enables this, the system will take automatically real-time information about the import and export tariff, real-time information about the weather forecast, and also power consumption patterns of the house, which is being fed live. And with these three variables, mainly with these three variables, the system will decide when it's time to charge and discharge the battery. Essentially, the homeowner is surrendering control of the battery system to the AI of the system, and everything will be done automatically. For the UK, at the moment, what we do is we connect to the API of Octopus. Is the only operator we know working with dynamic tariffs, let's say half an hour tariff. And so we read live all of this import and export information. There are several tariffs for Octopus, so the homeowner will need to input its region and which tariff they have for import and export, and this will be the setup that it needs. And again, with this information and the weather and the consumption of the house, the system will decide when is the best time to charge and discharge, and all will happen automatically. The CNAI mode comes disabled by default, but it can be enabled or disabled again at any time. Just to give a little bit of summary of, because there is a lot of AI involved on the system. So we have AI through energy planning, which I just discussed through the CNAI tariff. We also use AI for the safety, with the idea of safety algorithm predicting a potential fault inside the battery pack and disconnected the battery when necessary. There is AI involved through customer service, through the collaboration with ChatGPT and the AI assistant. And also, the last part will be AI for BPP schemes. We are also working for those large projects that include a BPP scheme or solar as a service. We are ready to integrate. There is also an AI element there, but our system is ready to receive and commands and act on it. Just to finish, I want to give you an introduction to our Segen Cloud, which is our new monitoring platform for installers. You can access the monitoring platform with the same login details as your Segen app. If you go to our website and you go to the bottom, you will have quick links, and then you will have a link there to the Segen Cloud. And again, you can just sign it with your same logins of the Segen app. This is a more comprehensive way to monitor several sites at the same time. You will have alarm prioritization, and it will be more visual. I encourage you, for those of you that are not new to Sigenergy, to take a look as soon as possible and give us feedback, because we are in a very good position to make changes. For those of you who are new and haven't done an installation yet, I will encourage you to check in as soon as possible after your first installation and let us know what you think. And to finish, we have also launched recently our loyalty program, which will get installers points for every equipment that I install, not per installation, but per every equipment that they install on a site. And they will be able to exchange those points for equipment in our mall. Installers are now enabled to start collecting points. So every installation that you do will give you points. The mall, however, is not ready, but it will be ready in the next month or so. But the most important thing is that you can start collecting the points now. If you have any questions about the loyalty points, just also get in touch and we will give you the details. That's all we wanted to share with you for today. So I guess you might have some questions, so we can start. Thank you. So when will the EVDC unit be available in Segen? The unit is available. Perhaps you can get in contact with Segen on when they're going to have stock, but this can be done pretty fast because the unit is already available to order. As for ENI certification and V2G functionality, so there are two separate things. ENI certification, we don't need it because it's a DC unit, so everything is behind the inverter. So as long as the energy controller, which is the inverter certified, that's all you need. B2G functionality, unfortunately, I cannot give you a timeline because it doesn't depend on us. It depends also on the EV makers. We are in conversations with them, but we are subject to the timeline. So unfortunately, at the moment, I cannot give you a timeline on the V2G. Second question from Ryan Austin. The presentation will be shared. I won't share the presentation, but I understand Segen will upload it to their YouTube channel. Gavin Christmas, is it a racking system to allow the system to be freestanding? This is not something, I'm assuming freestanding, not connected to a wall. So this is not something we sell. We can give you a guideline on how to do it, a recommendation, but any structure that you think is robust enough will work. Like if you want some example from us, we have some freestanding systems. I'm happy to give you some of the examples that we have done, but there is no really specific product or a rack for freestanding. You just need to make sure that the solution is robust enough. Just get in touch with me and I can give you more details if necessary. Will Chaplin about the AC charger. The AC charger is already available. You can get in touch with Segen to check when they are going to have stock for it. Andrew Martin for expected cost of AIMO and extendable warranties. Please get in touch directly. We can discuss that. On the AIMO, so yes, it is at the moment it is a free feature. It's under free trial for at least 1 year for new systems. This might become a membership in the future. We haven't decided yet. So again, we will keep the market informed about this. Gavin, yes, you can make one. Yes, the system can be used for fully off-grid systems. That's no problem at all. But you need the gateway. Hi, KV. The warranty is actually quite the same compared to industry standards. I mean, when they speak about 6,000 cycles, they refer to one cycle will be charging and another one will be discharging. So if you're thinking of the 6,000 typical cycles that manufacturers use, we are actually a little bit above that. Eddie Marsh, can the units be mounted off the floor on a wall with space underneath? Yes, they can. You will need to order the wall mounting racket for this. And in this scenario, we recommend that you use up to 2 battery packs plus an energy controller, so because of the weight. Split phase systems. For split phase systems, you can use we don't have a unit that support split phase, but you will need to use 2 single phase in parallel. It will be like 2 independent systems. For CHAdeMO fast charge, at the moment we are not working with CHAdeMO. We are only working with CCS2. CHAdeMO interface might be added in the future, but at the moment we're just focusing on finishing everything with CCS. Wall or Peter Maddox, wall or ground mount, floor mount. Sorry, you can choose. There is no really a standard or better way to do it. The only thing is, as I just mentioned just now, if you're gonna use the wall mounting rack, we recommend up to 2 battery packs. Up to 2 batteries for the wall mounting. You can go up to 6 if you use the floor mounting. It's just because of the weight. The wall mounting can only accept up to 2 batteries because of the weight. When combining battery sizes, there is no any recommendation really. You can make any combination of 5 and 8, so you don't need to follow any guidelines. Mark, DC and AC couple are supported with the same unit. Okay, guys.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much then, Louis. Obviously you've got your details there. Yeah. And this is recorded moving forward, but thanks a lot for joining, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, guys.